So what's your response to what Jim Chalmers just had to say?
Well, Peter, I think Jim's very chuffed to hand down his first budget tonight, but his budget is not the most important budget in Australia. The most important budget in Australia is the family budget that every household faces right now. People are struggling in this country with surging power prices, surging interest rates, cost of everything going up. And from what I heard from Jim Chalmers there, he's got no answers. Jim is the no answers treasurer. He's got no plan, no answers for people that are struggling with power bills and all the other rising costs. This is from a government who promised just 6 months ago at the election that they would lower your power prices by $275. They said it hundreds of times before people voted for them. And within weeks, they had dumped that promise. Now they are dumping a bunch of infrastructure spending that they promised at the last election as well. People out there just don't know where this government is going. They don't seem to be focused on their priorities. And we're not going to be able to deal with the cost of living crisis until we drop this net zero madness, which is causing inflation to skyrocket right across the Western world.
Well, I mean, you've got a few expenses here. Defence, aged care, health, more of that. More money needs to be spent on that. Plus you've got the cost of servicing the $1 trillion debt. I mean, isn't it responsible to try and pay that down?
Well, here's the problem though, Peter. What we should be doing is investing in a productive economy. We need to increase the supply of things. That's why the cost of everything's going up. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. Down here in Canberra, they try and hide and complicate things so you don't really understand what's going on. But what is going on is we have restricted and stopped the development of natural resources, energy, critical goods like fertiliser, right across the Western world. It's not Vladimir Putin that has done that. It is Greta Thunberg and her fellow gullible fools in government that have done these things. And that's why people can't afford to pay their bills right now, because we're not producing enough stuff. So what I hear from the Treasurer there is a lot about what the advice he would be getting from Treasurer in the bean counters here in Canberra, but very little about how he's going to unleash the economic potential of this country and of this nation and the natural resources we have, because that's the only way we're going to get prices down, to actually produce more, to be more productive, to have more jobs, to have more opportunities for people. Very little talk about that. It's all very doom and gloom from Jim, when we used to be, Peter, we used to be a lucky country. But we made our own luck and we actually took charge of our destiny. But Jim just wants to blame Vladimir Putin.
OK, so energy prices are expected to forecast anywhere between 30 and 50% next year. That is going to be a huge strain on households. The New South Wales Treasurer Matt Canavan suggested yesterday that the federal government should be chipping in and providing more funding to help homeowners to be able to pay for those bills. Is that something that you would support?
Yeah, well, I haven't looked closely at Matt Canavan's comments, but I'm usually, whatever he says about energy, I think you're best to do the opposite. That's definitely what's happening. He's an absolute disaster in New South Wales. Our electricity grid is crashing. They nearly had a blackout in Sydney. They came so close this winter. I don't think we can subsidise people's power bills forever. That's not the answer. That's why the UK is in the crisis it's in. We've got to fix the energy crisis soon, or we'll soon end up in a fiscal crisis. The UK tried to bail out people's power bills, and now they're telling people they can only do that to April next year. And just to clarify, I think it's really important to specify what you just said about a 30 to 50% increase in power bills. That means people in Australia next year are facing a $1,000 increase in their power bills. In the UK, they were facing a $5,000 increase in their power bills. That's the path we are on. That is unsustainable, and we cannot afford to subsidise it over time. What I go back to is what we've got to do is to use our coal, our oil, our gas, and I think long-term our uranium to increase the supply of energy. That's how you're going to bring the price of things down. It is not sustainable to continue to tax the rest of the country to pay people's power bills. You cannot lift yourself up with your own bootstraps. We've actually got to develop and get back to producing things in this country.
Fair to say, just a final point here, that coal and iron ore saved the budget, Matt?
Well, we saw the other week that we'll see tonight, but we saw the other week speculation that the budget is $50 billion better off because of surging commodity prices. And I didn't hear all of Jim's comments there, but I doubt he would have given thanks to the hard workers in the coal and gas industry. It just shows how far the Labor Party's gone from its roots, that it never has any gratitude for the workers of this country, the people that work hard, the people that have to shower at the end of the day, Peter, because they work hard for this nation. They're the people we should be paying tribute tonight, because this budget, Jim's budget, is going to be completely on their backs.
Matt Canavan, we will leave it there. Appreciate it though. Thank you. We'll talk to you soon.